talk about Penn State. They were 13-3 overall last year, 8-1 in conference, 14 returning starters. Most of that is on the offensive side. They have Drew Aller, Nicholas Singleton. They also have Katron Allen coming back as well. Then they also have all their offensive line is coming back, and then they have 5 on the defensive side coming back. So they have a pretty loaded crew next year. Everybody has them, top 1, 2, or 3. I'm seeing in most preseason polls. I don't get it. I just don't. I know. Jess is going to educate us on why Drew Aller is going to take that step this year. My last memory of Drew Aller was throwing yet another critical, terrible pass in a playoff game. So, that's what I remember. I said all year long I just don't trust him in the clutch, and he proved that last year. Because they weren't in a lot of big games, but the ones he was in, I felt he played better against Oregon, obviously, but I don't know. I just don't see it. But luckily for them, look who they start off the season with: Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. What a murderer's row that is to start the season. Then they have an off week before going to Oregon. So, it sets themselves up. If they can be 3-0 going to Oregon with a bye week, they get past that. Then they have UCLA, Northwestern, Iowa. Then they have another bye week before they go to Ohio State. The conference really did them well here by giving bye weeks right before Oregon and Ohio State to make sure they're well rested. The one thing here is they do have Indiana right after Ohio State, but I'm not sure how good Indiana will be this year. Then they end the season, Michigan State, Nebraska, Rutgers. It's just a terrible schedule. They have it's a 2.5 team schedule that they have to get through. But Jordan, what do you think about Penn State?
Will they ever get past a 2-loss season? That is the question. Honestly, like you said, Tony, Drew Aller, if he does take that step, I could see them losing to Ohio State. That's it. That's their ceiling, is 1 loss, Ohio State. I don't know if James Franklin can win at Ohio State. It's just I don't know. Can he? No, probably not. So I think their ceiling is a 1 loss. Can he
win a top 10 game? That's the every question. What is he, like 1-15 or something in those games?
Hey, man. He's still there.
He is there. He's like the Brian Kelly of Penn State.
I think their schedule is probably I don't know how they got this. All these buys and all this right before big games. I wish. But I think their ceiling is honestly undefeated. It all goes on the back of Drew Aller. But in my opinion, they lose to Ohio State, and that's their only loss.
All right, Jess, educate us on the coming Heisman winning season of Drew Aller.
Look, I am higher on Drew Aller than I think either of you, although Jordan, didn't seem so despairing of him.
Hey, man, if he steps up, then they're good, but he probably won't, so.
All right, I take back what I just said about Jordan. Thank you, Jordan. But Drew Aller has had 2 seasons as the full-time starter. His 2023 season, about 60% completion percentage. It's technically 59.9. Little over 2,600 yards, averaged 6.8 yards a pass, had 25 touchdowns with a rating of 136.9. Second season, last year, 66.5% completion, a little over 3,300 yards, up to 8.4 average yards per pass, 24 touchdowns, passer rating 153.5. So he got better last year, and I expect him to take another step this year. I agree with Jordan. I think the ceiling is undefeated. I think the floor is the same as it's been for however many years now, with 2 losses. I think the fact that they get the bye right before Oregon, which is a home game, is huge. I think that will be massive in whether or not they can beat Oregon. I think that will be huge. They essentially do get those 3 warm-up games. Then they get the bye, and then they get Oregon. Then at Ohio State, not going to be easy, but I am a little more hesitant about Ohio State. Penn State stole their defensive coordinator, made him the highest paid coordinator in all of college football. So not only is Ohio State not returning many defensive starters, they don't have the same coordinator, so even the starters there are probably going to be learning a new system. At that point in the season, they should be settled in, but it is still a lot of unknown right now. And so I think with all the returning starters, I think it's going to be a very good defense. I think the offense will be taking a big step forward. And Dennis Sutton, the defensive end, is going to be the next, people are talking about and projecting him. Is he going to be the next Parsons, the next Carter? I think he's a bit more of a true defensive end rather than an edge guy like Abdul and Micah were. Like these hybrid linebacker defensive end type, because this guy is like 6'5", 270. He's a big guy, and he was a force of nature in their playoff run. But I think Penn State, ceiling, undefeated, floor, 2 losses.
Yeah, I want to sign up for that 2 loss. I'm more comfortable with that.
Ceiling, undefeated, floor, Penn State.
That's what we'll call it the rest of it. Anybody listening to the games, that's
Are
the
you
Penn
gonna
State.
pull a Penn State?
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong though?
That's like
No.
Clemsoning back in the day.
you're not.
That's now
You're not
Penn
wrong at all.
Statian.